focused on you.
For the second time this week, the St. Louis Circuit Attorney is under fire, facing a contempt of court charge. Thanks so much for joining us at noon. I'm Kay Quinn. Kim Gardner, or someone in her office, is expected to appear before a judge today to explain why no one showed up for a jury trial and a status hearing. 5 on your side's Christine Byers is following this case, and this latest one involves an 11-year-old girl.
That's right, Kay. So Stephen Linnell Vincent Jr. was supposed to go to trial April 10th for a shooting that happened almost 3 years ago in the Jeff Vanderloo neighborhood. He's accused of firing multiple shots at a residential building. Some of those bullets went through this little girl's bedroom wall, and she was shot in the arm. Now, this contempt hearing is a bit different than the one that happened earlier this week. The prosecutor assigned to this case, Chris Deslitz, didn't show up to trial and had a fellow prosecutor tell the judge he had a medical issue. The judge then scheduled a hearing for Monday so the prosecutor could explain to himself in person, and he didn't show up for that hearing either. Also this time, Kim Gardner's attorney has not responded to the judge's threat to hold her or someone from her office in contempt, so we really aren't sure what the defense is going to be here. It's also worth noting that Vincent's attorney has filed a motion to dismiss the charges against him for failure to prosecute, and Judge Michael Noble has denied that motion until he sees verification of Deslitz's medical issue. Also, something different about today's contempt hearing is Judge Noble has agreed to allow cameras in the courtroom, so the public can watch this proceeding as it happens on KSDK.com, and we will bring you full coverage later in our newscasts.
So what's at stake here for the prosecutor or even Kim Gardner herself? This happens over and over again now. Absolutely.
So basically, what this judge can do is he can issue a fine, he can put someone in jail, or do both.
All right. It's going to be a story that continues to unfold. We know that, and we know you're following it. Thank you, Christine. Breaking at noon, talk show host and former Cincinnati Mayor Jerry Springer has died. His family says he passed away surrounded by his loved ones in his Chicago home this morning. Springer spent his early adult years as a lawyer, then transitioned into politics. After a time as a radio host, he became what he's best known for, the host of The Jerry Springer Show. Springer was 79 years old.
And I was honored to meet him twice in my life, once in New York, once in LA. Super nice guy. All right, so weather-wise, the Doppler weather radar is starting to see some good soaking rain in our southern counties. So Iron County, also Reynolds County. And you zoom in a little bit. We've had some reports of sprinkles around Forest Park and maybe a few around Ramsey. So you get into portions of Illinois, a couple sprinkles also in Phelps County. But the bulk of that moisture, again, still yet to come. And we can't even rule out a rumble of thunder in here. And it will move northward. Best chance of rain is I-70 southward throughout the day and into the evening hours. But we have to overcome this really dry air. Dew points are low, but they're creeping up just a little bit. And as we go into the daytime, they do creep up to near 50 dew point. That just simply means that the moisture is there, and we'll probably see those showers all the way through portions of the evening, and they'll remain scattered and light. In fact, around the metro, expecting about 1/10 of an inch to maybe 1/4 of an inch of rainfall, so not a lot. Current temperatures right now in the 50s in some areas, but low 60s in others. Much more in our forecast coming up, Kay.
All right, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you, Jim. New at noon, a call for state help in the Metro East. The mayors of Cahokia Heights and East St. Louis are asking the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to find a way to reduce flooding in their communities. They say sewer and water systems are more than a century old there and have been neglected. And because of it, the cities continue to deal with long-standing flooding issues in the low-lying areas. They say it's time for the government agency to step up and help. This Washington Park police officer faces charges for assaulting a teen with intellectual disabilities. Justin Gaither is charged with official misconduct and aggravated battery. Prosecutors tell us Gaither got into a physical fight with 19-year-old Larry Shaw last week. They say the officer hit Shaw in the face and used a stun gun on him. Police say Shaw has bipolar disorder, autism, and an intellectual disability and often calls the police when he gets upset. Developing today in Missouri, Attorney General Andrew Bailey's emergency order limiting transgender health care has been put on hold temporarily. 5 on your side, Sydney Stallworth has more on the ruling made by a St. Louis County judge.
In court yesterday, a St. Louis County judge heard from both the Attorney General's office and groups filing a lawsuit against his emergency order to limit gender-affirming care for adults and children in the state of Missouri. After hearing both sides, the judge decided to take more time to make a decision. Judge Ellen Roboto has placed the emergency order on hold for 5 days to review the arguments made. The ACLU and lawyers for local healthcare providers and their transgender patients are asking for a temporary restraining order. The AG's emergency order says gender-affirming healthcare is experimental and that new trans patients would have to undergo 18 months of mental health counseling before they could start transgender medical treatments of any kind. Josh Devine with the Attorney General's office argued in court, quote, "This is not a ban at all. You can get all these things, but you have to go through talk therapy first." The groups filing the lawsuit say gender care is not experimental and the AG's emergency order is inhumane. Bailey said in a statement following the ruling, quote, "This order merely stays the implementation of our rule so the court can review the briefing. We'll continue fighting for all patients to have access to adequate health care." The judge will make her decision by 5 o'clock Monday evening on a possible temporary restraining order. Reporting in Clayton, I'm Sydney Stallworth, 5 on your side.
The Justice for Jana Act is headed to the U.S. House. The Senate passed it yesterday, 0-22.
For years now, this community has had to deal with the fallout of the federal government's own nuclear program and the waste left over from it dating back to the 1940s, which was then effectively dumped in St. Louis, made its way into the water, into the soil, and now into a stream that runs right by this elementary school.
Missouri Senator Josh Hawley introduced the measure addressing contamination concerns at Jana Elementary in Florissant. The act would order the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to clean up the school, create a fund, and order testing for all other schools in the Hazelwood district. The Department of Energy would also have to review all testing. Still ahead, telling the story of their pain. The parents of the man who shot and killed 5 people at a Louisville bank speak out about his mental health problems leading up to the incident.
There was no clear tell, so this could happen to someone else, and we don't want that to happen.
Hear their story. Plus, don't hold it all in. A new public health campaign designed to help men talk about their problems.